Hello, Shallon. Don't you love that name? I just came up with it. I'm so psyched. Shallon. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about birth control and how to choose the right birth control for you. And I've gotten this question a lot over the years, and I've never really addressed it because I kind of didn't know, because I myself am not on birth control. And I'll explain why. But first, I just want to remind you guys that if you have questions about love, sex, dating, health, friends, family, whatever, the best way to submit them is on the Instant Go app. My username is Shallon, XO, and if you click the chat feature, I get back to you in less than 24 hours. So pretty sweet. All right, birth control. I myself am not on birth control. I don't respond well to hormones and chemicals in my body. I'm very sensitive, so in emotion as in the body. And I also have some kind of feminists feelings about birth control. On one hand, yes, being able to control your contraception and whether or not you get pregnant is the most feminist thing. It's what sparked the feminist revolution back in the 70s. However, I have a real problem with the only birth control out there being for females. Yes, there's condoms, but females also experience the effects of condoms. You know, we notice we have to put them on and buy them, apparently carry them with us, which I think is ridiculous because no one ever asks a man if they have a tampon, so, because that goes on their body, so why do we have to have the condom? You know, they get the rubber smell on our hands, it's disgusting. But everything else, the woman purely experiences. The man does not interface with the methodology nor with the consequences of a diaphragm, a pill, the sponge, the IUD, the copper implant, the depot shot, none of it. They just sit back and it's a semen fiesta, them just doing whatever they want. I personally don't find that okay. I don't mind condoms. I never have. And if a guy minds them, that almost makes me happy in a spiteful way. Because I'm like, you know what? Good. You should experience that preventing a pregnancy comes with a consequence. There's something you have to do and experience in order to keep me from getting pregnant. Sorry, that sucks a little bit for you. Feels the same to me for the most part, you know, whatever. So, I understand though, if you want to have a little bit more of a longer lasting and better birth control that you always have to think about. So, the first thing you have to think when you choose your birth control is and when I was younger, because I used to be on the pill, and I actually got off of it because I didn't really like the effects of it. And also I read a study that said women who are on birth control pills, it will affect your libido. If you're on them for more than 2 years, it will affect your libido for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. Not until you get off them, not 5 years after that, forever. It damages your sex drive forever. I mean, is that how birth control works? You just don't want to have sex? It's kind of a good method, I guess. For me, that's how birth control pills work because I was such a monster on them. No one wanted to have sex with me, so job well done, Yasmin. Or Yaz, whatever it was. Okay, but when I was choosing my birth control, I was in college at the time. I realize now, the question I was asking myself was, what's gonna be best for my love life? What are boys gonna like? You know, what's maybe gonna make my boobs bigger? What am I gonna remember to take even if I'm drunk? What's gonna be best for my social life? And that's kind of a backwards way of thinking. What I should have been asking myself is, what is going to be best for my body? Because if you think about it, if you're on the wrong kind of birth control, whether it's an IUD or a shot or this or that, and you're bleeding for 10 days randomly, or you're breaking out, or you're crying, or you've gained 10 pounds, that's gonna affect your social life anyway. If your body isn't running as it should, if everything isn't calibrated perfectly with your hormones, your social life is shot anyhow. So you need to focus on yourself. Not what a boyfriend's gonna like, not what's gonna be cool, no. But the question is, well, how do I know what's gonna be good for my body? I mean, I don't know if this type of birth control is good or an IUD is the right answer. I want you guys to download an app. No, not the Instant Go one, but I do want you to download that one. It's called Hormonology. I have no affiliation with this. This isn't an ad, this isn't a SponCon. This is just an app that I use that I love. And basically, it's like a hormone horoscope. You put in, you kind of put your info into the settings. The first day of your period is day 1 of your cycle. I got my period yesterday, so I'm on day 2 now. And so you set that in there. You estimate how long your cycle is. I'm over 30. I still have no idea how long my cycle is. Is it 28 days? Is it 35? I don't know. But that's not super important. Just figure out like how many days it was since your last period and put that in. And that app will tell you day by day what your hormones are doing. Because we all go through the same cycle, you know, the 28 to 31 day cycle. Interestingly, boys go through the same hormone cycle, but in 24 hours. Isn't that interesting? That's why they want sex in the morning, because their hormones are peaking, why they're like grouchy in the afternoon. There's all these things. So every day, this app is going to tell you things about where you are in your cycle, how it relates to your mood, your body, weird things like be careful shopping today because your estrogen is rising, so you're feeling more optimistic and you're more likely to impulse purchase. I would have never put that together, you know? Or like, if you're a little irritable today, it's because this is happening. Or you're ovulating, so you're gonna wanna stay in and you're gonna wanna talk to people who you love and trust. That's an evolutionary thing for you to form bonds with people in case you're getting pregnant right now because you're ovulating. Like, it's so interesting. But one thing it also tells you is if you pay attention to it, it'll tell you how you respond to certain hormone levels in your body. One thing that they talk about in the app is progesterone. Rising progesterone, for most people, gives them a feeling of like mellowness, calm, you're very like homey, you're very chill. Not me, honey. Not me. I am a monster when the progesterone rises. To the point that my boyfriend has downloaded this app and he tracks my cycle with me. Like, he knows when I'm getting my period, he knows where I am, and he's like, I just like to know what I'm walking into when I come over to your house. And looking at where you are in your cycle is really helpful. Should I bring condoms? Should I bring chocolate cake? Should I just avoid your place altogether? So because I know that I don't do well with rising progesterone, that is how birth control works. It's progesterone based, a lot of it. So that's why I didn't do well on birth control. And I felt like I was crazy, or I felt like my body was broken because I was taking the same thing that my friends was. And they were like, boobs big, losing weight, skin clear. And I was like I was like a possum that's like just hissing from inside a log. And now that I know that, I know that the pill is likely not for me. And you can't figure things out if you don't have the information. And if you go to a doctor, like, they don't know what your body responds well to. How are they gonna know this unless they do like all this weird blood work? But you can track these things yourself using this app, just keeping a diary of where you are in your cycle. Here's what annoyed me today. Here's what I ate today. Here's what I wanted to do today. Here's what I had to do today. We as women have an obligation to read our own instruction manual. And society doesn't really encourage us to do that. Ew, don't look at your body, it's your gross no-no parts. What are you doing? Like, thinking about a moon cycle and how it affects your period. Women have been doing this for thousands of years, and we have gotten so far away from that because of this patriarchal society. No. So there's other options if the pill isn't for you. One of those that a lot of people talk about is the IUD. There's two kinds of IUDs. There's a kind that releases hormones, like the birth control pill, only it's not something you have to take every day. And then there's like the copper IUD, which doesn't have any hormones. And for a long time, I was like, then how does it work? I mean, do I just like shove a penny up my vagina? Is that kind of the same thing? So this is how the IUD works, actually. You know when you go to like Target and you're trying to find a parking space and you think there's one, but it has a shopping cart in it and you're like, ugh. Even though the cart doesn't take up the whole thing, you're like, well, it's occupied. That's how an IUD works. It basically hangs out in your uterus. And when like an egg tries to go there, it's like, oh shit, occupied. And it turns around. So it's sort of like a big occupied sign that sits in your uterus. And there's something about the copper that like scares everything off. However, if you know anything about IUDs, you know that there's been a little bit of controversy about them. IUDs can migrate, they can move, they don't just stay there, they can implant themselves in the wall of your uterus. They can go through your uterus. They can go on a magical mystery tour through the inside of your body until it implants on the wall of some other organ. It can also fail. A lot of people get pregnant with the IUD. And the problem is, you don't always get your period. So you might not know that you're pregnant until it's too late to get an abortion. And I don't find that as an acceptable option at all, because I would always be like, oh my God, you know, what's happening? Am I pregnant or not? And I know you think like, oh, well, you know, migration, you know, getting pregnant, that's probably pretty rare. Let me tell you, my friends, I know not one, not two, but three girls like personally, not like a friend of a friend of a friend, 3 girls in my inner circle who have had a copper IUD, the non-hormonal one. It's either migrated, she's gotten pregnant, or both. And when I say it's migrated, it hasn't just like kind of fallen askew. My one friend, it punched a hole through her uterus and went on a rampage inside her body. No one could find it. The only reason they actually found it because her dad is a doctor and had all this sophisticated equipment and like hooked her up to these ultrasounds, found it implanted in the wall of her stomach, the outside, the lining of her stomach. She had to have surgery. And then a few years later, she got married. She decided she wanted to have a baby. Well, guess what? There's a big ass hole in your uterus. And a uterus is like a balloon. The baby goes in there and it grows. So if you have a little hole, that gets big and bloop, that baby could just fall right on out and there's a miscarriage. Sure enough, she went into labor, I think 2 months early. Her baby was in the NICU for a long time. I guarantee it's because of that IUD. Because a guy doesn't like a condom? Okay. So these are not just urban legends. These are extremely, extremely likely scenarios, at least from what I have witnessed. Like, that's a pretty big sample size. 3 people out of like, I don't know, 20 friends that I have. That's a lot. And that's not something I'm gonna take a risk on. So again, it's up to you. And I think we're also taught like there's the pill, the condoms, or the IUD. Explore your options. Do you know what a diaphragm is? It's kind of like a little hat that goes on your cervix, like if you put a cap over your drain to stop the water from draining in your tub. It's like that. They're very like 70s. It was like, ooh, you have like a diaphragm. Like it's like a real 70s thing. But they come in different sizes. They're like a little hat. You can hold them in a little carrier and you put like spermicidal goo in it, like a little like goo on there, and then you put the hat on your cervix and you shove it up inside of you. I understand if that's not something you want to do before you have sex, but you can leave it in for like a while, like I think a day or 2. The same with the sponge. For a while I went on the streak with using the contraceptive sponge. Like if you watch Seinfeld, is he sponge worthy? They're back in the market. They're tiny. You wet them and you foam them up like a sponge, shove them in there. For me, they started to burn really, really, really bad. And I've tried a lot of different things and I just kind of come to the conclusion that's like, it's condoms or it's not sex. And if a guy has a problem with that, that's his problem, that's not my problem, you know? And we as women have to stop taking on the burden that men should be sharing with us. Because at the end of the day, if we get a disease, he's not gonna share that. If we get pregnant, I mean, we could try to make him show up and share that, but we can't. Even if he is there as a partner, it's happening to our body. It's affecting us more than it's ever gonna affect him. So we need to do, first and foremost, what's right for us, nobody else. Talk to your doctor, talk to your friends, learn your cycle, learn your body. Take some time to figure out what works for you. And don't be afraid to say like, we're using condoms until I figure out what's good for me. Okay, and if a guy has a problem with that, he fundamentally doesn't respect you because he doesn't understand. And on one hand, of course, how could he fully understand the experience of a woman? But that means he's not willing to try, and he's sort of like downplaying what it's like to be a woman. That man is not allowed inside my apartment, my car, and certainly not my body. No. 8 billion people in the world. You don't have to suffer one fuckboy. If you guys have more questions, like I said, hit me up in the Instant Go app. I will talk vaginas and birth control all day long. Or leave some other topic ideas here in the comment section. Click like and subscribe and share this with your friends. We gotta get a dialogue going about our bodies, about women's health, about contraception. It's not weird, it's not icky. We can't want boys and then not take care of ourselves on the other end because no one is gonna take care of us. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to be our own heroes and our own saviors. All right? I love you, Shallon. I'll see you next time.